Welcome to a new episode of Meet the Leaders, presented by Tapping to Scotch Plains and Fanwood. I'm here with Downtown Redevelopment Coordinator Tom Strowe, and we're just going to find out a little bit inside of what happens within the redevelopment coordination. So describe to me what the Downtown Redevelopment Coordinator does.
Well, my responsibility is basically to work with the mayor, the deputy mayor, the council, the manager, our downtown redevelopment committee, and of course, our residents, business owners, to come up with a long-term, multi-phase economic development vision for our town. I mean, we're really proud of the fact that we're really working on the first real redevelopment project in over 36 years. I've got to work and coordinate basically all the different interests that are in our town, within the town, with our residents, the developer, and work on putting a plan together that will accomplish the vision that we're trying to implement for our town. The other thing I'm involved in a lot is the negotiation, preparation, and administration and implementation of our third round affordable housing settlement, which we settled back in 2018. We've completed everything that's been required of us except for our downtown overlay zones, which we're going to adopt on August 18th. But we put together a really great report on everything that we've done to satisfy our obligations. I know that the affordable housing settlement is somewhat controversial, but we have a great plan that we put together, the best possible plan we can get, and that is on the town website. People can look at that report. The other issues that I work on is I work very closely with the deputy manager, Margaret Heisey, and the rest of the town team to promote the businesses that we have in town. That's very important. We're transforming the way that we work with our business community, and we want to make sure that our government and our businesses are connected and that everybody has a seat at the table. And it's important as well because we want to attract new businesses as part of our redevelopment effort, and we want them to know that there's a welcoming town, that the government cares about them, and that we can all work together.
So what are the priorities of the Downtown Redevelopment committee? Because I know you said it was like a coalition of business owners and other members of the town.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the priorities overall?
Well, you can see behind me, I know people have probably seen this millions of times, but we have these 7 phases, 3 tiers and 7 phases of downtown redevelopment. And the committee is made up of town officials, residents, business owners, and property owners within our downtown. And as developers come in and look at projects in any of these areas, the Downtown Redevelopment Committee negotiates with those developers on behalf of the council and then presents those plans to the council for their approval, and then it goes down the process. So right now our major priority is we're working in this green area here, the Tier 1 Phase 1 section of our downtown, to redevelop our publicly owned surface parking lots into mixed-use developments, new recreational opportunities. We want to create new activity, real economic development, attract new restaurants, and people are looking for an experience, and we want to create that for them. And so our priority right now is finishing the negotiations with Advanced Realty and PS&S, the developers that we've been working with since we started our RFP process a few years ago. So we're really focusing on the core of our downtown, jump-starting that, and then having that be the catalyst for more redevelopment across our downtown.
So how long has this this process been going on for?
Really, we started it back in 2017 is when the committee was created. We worked on putting a very broad redevelopment plan together through the committee that was used in an RFP that went out at the end of 2018. 2019, we reviewed those submissions and selected to negotiate with Advanced Realty and PS&S. So it's been about a year since we've been talking with that specific developer on this project.
What is your background within the redevelopment field and whatnot?
Mm-hmm. So just to take a step back from that, I'm born and raised in Scotch Plains. I graduated 2010, it's 10 years ago now. I went to Fairleigh Dickinson University in Madison for 4 years. After that, I worked in the New Jersey General Assembly, the state legislature, for an assemblyman for a little over 3 years. And we worked on a whole host of issues. The assemblyman was on the budget committee, so we worked on economic development, tax incentives, all those different types of things from a state level. the Economic Development Authority. So I was looking to get a little closer to the people in a community setting. I mean, when you're in the state, it's great, but people don't know what a state assemblyman is or a state senator is. You don't really get to interact and do things directly in a town like you do in the position that I'm in now. And growing up in town, and still the same way, because I talk to kids at the schools for different things, but a lot of young people do not spend any time in downtown Scotch Plains. I always had friends that went to Westfield or Cranford or wherever else, and that always bothered me because I'm such a Scotch Plains guy that I really want people to stay in Scotch Plains. So when this whole started 3 years ago, I really wanted to get involved and help lead this, being from town, and making sure that we can make Scotch Plains the destination, the place where it's happening, the place where the party is, so that people, all ages and demographics, are coming to Scotch Plains or staying in Scotch Plains.
I don't want to off track too much, but I noticed that you were also the coordinator for the census in the town. Do you want to touch upon a little bit of that as well? Yeah, no, absolutely. I will also just add to the last point that I am also on the board of directors for downtown New Jersey. I was elected to that earlier this year, so I'm also involved in redevelopment issues throughout our state and working with other officials. But on the census, yes, we're doing really well in Scotch Plains. We have 81.1% of residents that have completed the census. We've surpassed in all of our tracts in town what we had 10 years ago, even 10 years before that. So we're beating 2000 and 2010 records. And it's very important because funding for our town, for our schools and roads and data that we'll use for downtown redevelopment planning comes out of the census. So if we can get that last, 18.9% of residents to complete the census, it will really get us in good shape. So I'm really happy and thankful to everybody who's completed it so far. If we can get to 100%, it'll be even better. Yeah. I'm just out of curiosity regarding the census. Like, what did the town do differently to get that really high number than they have done in previous years?
Well, our governing body really had the foresight to start very early in this process. We created a complete count committee of community leaders and stakeholders back in September of last year, way before anything really started. And we've started the planning process. It's basically us getting out there and encouraging people to do this. The mayor, Councilman White, the other members of the council, the other members of the complete count committee, we're people who are local that people trust. And we wanted to make sure that people understood how important it was to our town and getting the message out there on social media. We did a Rock the Census video with Billy Wilkins a couple of months ago. And, so I think we've really just been really pounding the pavement, just emphasizing how important this is and really making sure that people are aware of what's going on. And I think that's why we've seen the success we've seen.
I remember you brought up to me before about a library grant. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. I mean, that's it right there, or at least what the outside of it looks like, a rendering of it. There are floor plans. But back in 2017, the voters of New Jersey approved a referendum for bonds to support new library construction or rehabilitation, whichever a particular municipality needs. And we've submitted a plan for this grant of a 25,000 square foot library in our downtown. And when people think of libraries, well, I shouldn't say all people, but a lot of people they think of books and what a library is kind of used to be. But this library is really going to be the hub of our downtown. It's going to have a lot of meeting room spaces. It's going to be a 21st century library, new technology, activities, people who can do art shows and other types of activities. And we want to attract more people to our library who are then going to spill out into the rest of our downtown and be part of everything else that we're going to be offering in the redevelopment plan. So this library is very key. I fully support it. I think that it's really going to transform the way the downtown works and connects to the broader community. And think of Princeton with their library and where it's located in the downtown and how that attracts people and kind of flows people in and out. That's a similar type of vision that we want for Scotch Plains. And we're talking about locating the library off of Bartle Avenue. With the redeveloper that we're working with, there's a couple of things that are contingent upon happening that need to get done. But We're thinking about closing Bartle Avenue, making it kind of like a public street, similar to Division Street in Somerville, where you can go to the library. There'll be this whole public street out here where we can have all kinds of different type of programming. Like I said, the arts, music, different things. People can walk up and down, check it out, you know, and everybody can hang out there. You know, we want to have a beer garden down there too, and you know, have a whole bunch of different activities going on, just like they have like in Division Street. You know, people are looking for an experience. They want to come downtown. They want to have a good time. They want to go to restaurants. They want to go to libraries. They want to see art. They want to listen to music. They want to have fun. And we want to make sure that Scotch Plains is the happening place to be.
Before we conclude the interview, is there anything you would like to bring up to the video?
Yes, you know, I would just like to say that you know, I'm very thankful to be in the position I'm in. I love public service. I love being able to interact with the public, put together plans that, you know, will improve our local economy and the health of Scotch Plains. And you know, I'm fortunate to be able to work with a great team, you know, a great mayor and council, manager, all of our leadership team here who really care a lot about our residents. And you know, I think people should really pay attention to what's going to be going on in the next couple months here with downtown redevelopment. We're really engaging the committee again this month to get them back up to speed. I mean, despite COVID, we've had a lot of good negotiations with the redeveloper, but we're going to be re-engaging the committee, and hopefully by late summer, early fall, we're going to be having meetings and showing people what the developers come up with and what we're planning on doing. You know, my job is to make sure that the key threshold issues, financial questions, other planning questions are answered, so that when we put this up on a screen, we're, you know, almost certain that, you know, what we're going to put up there is going to work. We just don't want to put something up there just to put it up there. So we're working now with the committee to get those key threshold issues answered. We want to bring this out to the public, and we want to know what everybody in the public thinks about it, because, you know, this is their town, and it's their vision too, and the more public participation, the better.
Thank you very much.
You got it.
There you have it with Downtown Redevelopment Coordinator Tom Strowe. Tune in for more interviews with local leaders exclusively on the Tap Into YouTube channel.